Hello and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Today we take a look at the case of 3 men who wanted to hit the jackpot in a drug smuggling plot but were eventually caught by the EncroChat operation. An investigation by the National Crime Agency, who are also known as the NCA, uncovered the plot by 3 men to use a legitimate removal firm to transport £4.5 million of Class A in sealed fish tanks. Mark Ewell, who was 64, Alfred Rumbold, who was 65, and a removal driver, Brian Wright, who was 73, who were all from the south of England, had tried to import around 55 kilos of Class A. However, officers had watched as the men had a series of secretive meetings with a Merseyside-based organised crime group and had wanted to import Class A drugs, driving Mr. Wright's legitimate covert listening devices deployed by the NCA picked up a conversation during a meeting at a cafe in Kent in July of 2020, where they were heard discussing border controls. Mr. Ewell told Mr. Rumbold and Mr. Wright, "We're gonna hit the jackpot. We're going to make some serious dough." Mr. Wright carried out a dummy run, taking his lorry to the Netherlands. He made a series of notes around the border checks and security on his phone as he returned. The following week, Mr. Wright made the run for real, collecting the drugs which had been sealed inside fish tanks. However, as part of a joint operation involving the NCA and Dutch law enforcement, the truck was raided just outside Utrecht. Mr. Wright, who was inside, was arrested. The Dutch police recovered 32 kilos of cocaine and 3 kilos of MDMA, which combined would have had a UK street value of around £4.5 million. At the same time as Mr. Wright was being arrested in the Netherlands, the NCA had arrested Mr. Ewell and Mr. Rumbold at their home addresses, seizing a number of phones including EncroChat and Sky ECC encrypted devices. The EncroChat messages, which are attributed to Mr. Rumbold by the NCA as part of Operation Venetic, the UK law enforcement's response to the takedown of the platform, showed that Mr. Rumbold was discussing with numerous criminals on the potential of moving drugs across Europe with Mr. Wright's firm. At the trial, both Mr. Ewell and Mr. Rumbold had denied drug importation charges, claiming that they had only been seeking to smuggle alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco and cannabis. Meanwhile, Mr. Wright, who was extradited back to the UK from the Netherlands, had denied any knowledge of the drugs, claiming he was just transporting furniture. However, a judge at the same court sentenced Mr. Ewell and Mr. Rumbold to 14 years in jail each, whilst giving Mr. Wright a 12-year sentence. The NCA Regional Head of Investigations, Peter Stevens, said, "The sentences handed out today demonstrate just how seriously the UK court take drug trafficking offences, and I welcome them. The Class A drugs seized in this investigation would have ended up in the hands of UK criminal gangs involved in violence and exploitation, and provided a big payday for Mr. Ewell, Mr. Rumbold and Mr. Wright. By their own admission, they thought they had hit the jackpot, but they weren't counting on the tenacity and the expertise of the NCA officers who, supported by our Dutch partners, had watched their every move, even during the height of the UK COVID lockdown. We are determined to do all we can to disrupt and dismantle the organised crime network. We hope that others involved in this type of activity take notice, especially those which are involved in the international drug supply." Thank you for joining us today. What are your opinions on the crimes committed by the fish tank Class A smuggling gang? Do you believe a sentence of 14 years for Mr. Ewell and Mr. Rumbold and 12 years for Mr. Wright was too harsh or not harsh enough? Please let us know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and share. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more Street Crime UK content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press the bell so you can join us on the next video. Thank you for joining us, and until next time, stay safe.